So Concerto was founded in 2004 by Steve DeRike and Kevin Davies. And back in the day it was originally developed as a KPI module to help local authorities back then to report on how well projects and property was performing within their portfolios. It clearly then evolved over a series of years as we interacted with different departments within the different local authorities that we worked for. That kind of evolution allowed us to work closely with our customers to develop additional functionality that gradually over a period of years allowed us to develop the fully integrated Concerto suite, covering pretty much all aspects of property management from acquisition through the operational life cycle of that property and then out to any disposal or capital works that need to be undertaken to refurbish that property or bring that property in line with its current operational need. When it was originally constructed back in the early noughties, as it were, we adopted web technologies, which back then was quite a bold step because in our core market vertical, which was local authorities, there was still very much a thick client approach to software and technology. And by that what we mean is they wanted the technology to be set on local server infrastructures or as client applications running on local machines because of the potential security threats. Where that offered real value for us moving forwards is that with the emergence of web technologies, it meant that we could evolve our core platform as opposed to have to rewrite it to work through the web technology framework. It was easier to do back then because fundamentally it existed as one module. It was one module that consisted of a series of input screens, a series of functions that sat behind that then created a series of reports. So actually the complexity that we started off with was reasonably narrow, so therefore that allowed us to adopt that technology early, which gave us the framework or the architecture to allow us to evolve as the architecture became more complex and the functional remit of the software became more complex as well. Right at the beginning there was Steve DeRike, who was our technical director, and another developer who pretty much worked 24 hours a day getting the application to its kind of, if you like, a production ready. And over the years, as our client base has grown, as we've invested more time in R&D, as we've evolved the product moving forward, we're probably sitting at around 12 to 14 developers now that are based either here in Stockton Heath, and we have a development resource in our Leicester head office as well. And predominantly they're there to support the Bellrock use of the Concerto platform in relation to its target operating model that crosses all the different service chassis that Bellrock offer out to the market. The predominance of our software evolution, if you like, will exist around the aggregation of property related information. So as we stand right now, the data that we create comes from the functions within our own software application. We obviously have an API layer that sits around that, so we'll take semblance of energy data, or we'll take workforce management data, etc. So we can aggregate data just within the Concerto platform. We're moving to now is where we want to take data feeds from edge devices such as IoT devices. We want to integrate with BMS systems and aggregate that data into common taxonomies that then feed into the Concerto application to drive effective and efficient service interventions through these data insights that we're going to create through this kind of aggregation API layer that we're evolving. We then see that a lot of those service interventions will take place through our mobile framework. The Concerto as it stands now will almost just be a reporting, analytics, workflow configuration, jeopardy management, exception type tool. So in effect where we're going to is we'll take a lot of the data feeds through a landscape in which we reside. We'll then plug that into our kind of configurable workflow engines, and that will then drive a series of interventions through our mobile layer that basically allows us to capture real-time data as we're undertaking service interventions. We're creating a much leaner data journey by taking information from a BMS or an IoT device, taking information still from a mobile reactive help desk job that's created, that links into a workflow engine, take these additional data sets from the aggregation layer that we've got, and then drive a series of interventions through our mobile working platform. This was quite an exciting move for me. Obviously we've been in Frotton, which was great, and it served us well for that kind of period of our growth within our business. We are now much more at the bleeding edge of the technological market in which we exist, and we feel that we needed an infrastructure, an office environment that allowed us to promote that. I think secondly, it gives us greater space for growth, but I think thirdly, more importantly, it allows us to attract the right kind of talent that we want in our business. Modern software professionals nowadays see their working environment almost as important as the job that they do and the salary that they earn. So the move into an office like this, its proximity to the local town centre, the beauty of the building that we're in, the kind of brand new IT infrastructure that we've put in, the new office furniture, the desks, just allows us to kind of catapult into that next era, which is kind of this aggregation, mobile application era that we're driving to. And I think not just me, but all the guys behind me are just super excited about how this pushes us on to that kind of Concerto 3.0, if you like, which is the new era of our life with Bellrock as our parent.